What's going on, everyone? Steven here from Leadjetty.com. In this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to create a correct answer quiz. We'll be basing what we do here on an article that I will link to down in the description, so if you want a more in-depth explanation, be sure to check that out. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we need to do, and this is my test account, so it's full of kind of fake stuff, and everything that we do here will be a little bit silly, so don't take any of this too seriously. It's really just to show you the mechanics. So with that said, let's go ahead and come up here and click Create New Flow, and it's going to give us a list of options, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick Embedded Form. You can pick whichever one you want. The embedded form just lets us have this directly in a page somewhere, and I'm going to call this something along the lines of crypto correct answer quiz. I guess I've typed that before when I was testing, so I'm just going to come down here and pick that. It's an embedded widget, which we already said, and it doesn't matter which property I put it on. If you only have one property, you won't see a list here, so that's normal. Over here we need to do something with the advanced options. So normally you can leave all this blank if you're just kind of doing a normal flow, but if you want to have a quiz, you need to pick a quiz type. And you're going to see the three options here: correct answer, range score, and categorical. We're going to go with correct answer. And this next bit, category outcomes, you can leave blank unless you're doing categorical. So in the future we'll update the user interface so that you don't have to read and know all of this. But for now, if you're doing correct answer or range score, just leave this blank. So we'll create this flow and we'll see what happens here. So we don't have any quiz templates yet over here on the right, so we're just going to do this manually and set up each step bit by bit. So also, I'm working off of a draft of the article that I'm writing right now over here on the other tab, so we'll pull some info over from there. Let's go ahead and add a step. And I want the first step to basically be sort of some kind of opt-in text with a call to action. So I'm going to keep it pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is just say something like, well, first of all, let's add a paragraph. And then we're just going to say something like, actually, you know what? Let's get rid of the paragraph. Let's keep this even more simple. So I'm going to remove this one and kind of making up how I'm going to do this on the fly here, so bear with me. We're going to do single choice buttons, and we're going to just say something like, are you a real crypto investor? Find out now. Something like that. And then down here we'll just say start the quiz. So this is a little hack that we do to kind of have these just single call to action things. You create a multiple choice or single selection kind of thing with buttons, and then instead of putting a bunch of answers, just put one. So basically it's like a multiple choice with only one option. So that'll give us our first step. Are you a real crypto investor? Find out now. So we can turn this on and preview it just to see what we've got so far. So if I click this, should open a new tab here. So now we've got, are you a real crypto investor? Find out now. We can work on the style of that a little bit later, but for now I just want to show you how to actually build the quiz. So we'll add another step, and now I'm going to add, it's just going to be a series of multiple choice questions. Everybody calls them multiple choice. In technical terms, it's single choice buttons because you can only pick one. Multiple select would mean you could actually select multiple answers, so we call them single choice buttons. So I'll add single choice buttons again. What's the first question I've got? Which of these is the best investment strategy? So we'll come in here and we'll say, which of these is the best investment strategy? And possible answers, let's see what I've got over here. So just buy Tesla, $TSLA, comma. And when you hit comma, you'll see that it kind of puts a little bit of a gray background behind there, so you know that it's set. Buy BTC and HODL. So if you're not into the crypto world, these are all sort of crypto jokes. And invest in a diversified ETF. And last, ETH and altcoins with a rocket. ETH and altcoins And if you're ever on a Mac and you hit Control Command Spacebar, it'll pull up this list of emojis, which is cool. So I'm going to put a rocket, comma, and then we need to save this. Okay, so I am going to pause the video and add a few more questions in the exact same way. So now that you know how to add questions, just hold on for a second and I'll add all of those. And then when I get back, we'll set up the answers to each one, style it all up a little bit better, and then go ahead and try it out. Okay, so we're back and I've got a few more questions set up here, really just 2 more. So I have a 3-question quiz. You can obviously make it way longer than this. But I'm going to show you how to set up answers. One thing before you keep going, all of this is just a joke. So I feel like you see all these guys online say, no, this is not financial advice. This is definitely not financial advice. With that said, let's go ahead and look at how to set this up. So what we can do is click back on one of these white boxes here. And you see that we basically have now at the bottom this category score changes. We need to change that. That should just be score changes because this is not just categories. What we can do is basically say when the answer is a certain thing, increase the person's score by a certain amount. And in the future, in the near future, this will be a drop down so that you can just pick from all of these answers. For now, this is in a very early stage of beta, so you actually have to type in the text that you want. So for example, in my case, I'm going to say ETH and alt coins, and then put that rocket ship. Now these things have to match exactly to the answer you have up here. So that's why we're going to make it a drop down. Then you just click add. And now you'll see down here when the answer is ETH and altcoins with the rocket, change the total by 10. So we're going to do that for each one of these really quick. So we'll come over here and we'll click on where do you prefer to trade. And we'll say DeFi all the way. And then we'll increase the amount by 10. And we can just close that. You don't need to save in this case. You just need to, if it appears here, it's ready. And again, we're going to definitely be working on this user experience. So it'll get a lot better. Literally all of it. And then the amount is 10 here. And we'll click add. Cool. So now we have all of our score changes set up. Okay, so 2 quick things now that we have our score change stuff set up. We need to add one final step here. I'm going to do another video soon where I will show you how to use the result of any type of quiz to take a bunch of different actions, but for now we're just going to print it out. So I'm going to create a paragraph here, and this is I don't want to intimidate you with this. This is sort of like any sort of email marketing system you have. There's different variables. So we have a default variable built in called quiz result. So you can say something like you scored quiz underscore result out of 30. And we'll just leave it like that. Save this and let's give it a try here. So we'll style it up a little bit more in a minute maybe. For now, let's just refresh this screen here and give it a shot. So we'll say start the quiz. And it's going to prompt me with my questions. So I'm going to say which of these is the best investment strategy, ETH and altcoins. I'm going to say where do you prefer to trade. I'm going to say something like GDAX. And how much of your portfolio? Less than 50%. So maybe I'm kind of a reasonable person taking this quiz. So I'm going to get 10 out of 30 because I only answered the question, one of the questions appropriately apparently. So let's do it one more time in a new incognito window. You have to do an incognito window because it will remember the person's answers in their browser. So if you want to do the quiz again, you have to open it incognito. So we'll start the quiz. We'll say ETH and altcoins, DeFi all the way, and literally all of it. And you'll see now that we scored perfect. Cool. So that's basically how to set all that up. So again, this is a completely ridiculous quiz, but now you kind of see how you can do this. A couple of quick points. So on styling this, one thing you might want to do is if you want to have more control over how the questions look and how the text looks, what you can do is start with a paragraph. And I'm not going to do this for all of them, but I'm going to do it for one here real quick. So we grab this paragraph and bring that up here. And I'm going to cut, so by the way, I don't know if I've said this clearly, but anytime you want to edit anything, just click on the white box area for that thing and it'll pull over available options. So I'm going to cut this and just leave this to say find out now. And then over here, I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to do some things like we'll make it bold, we'll make it an H4, which this doesn't quite look right in this editor here at the moment, but it does look right on the other side. So we'll say something like, maybe we'll add an emoji here. Are you a real crypto investor? Save that. And let's copy the link to our preview here. Make sure I don't have any more incognito windows open. We'll open this in a new incognito window, and you'll see now we get a little bit more of like a compelling prompt. So you can kind of use that text area or text editor here to kind of make this how you want to some extent, and then use like more simple like questions for the answers here. You could actually also leave this blank. You could just get rid of that question text, but I wouldn't suggest it. Anyway, so you can do that for each one of these questions if you want. If you want to add a little bit more text and make it a little bit more styled, so you can do that. Now you know how to do pretty much everything in here. So we're gonna make a couple more videos about the other types of quizzes, and then I'm gonna show you after we do all of that in another video coming up pretty soon how to actually take action. So coming down here, if you want to redirect to a different URL or integrate with other systems based on how people answer or their quiz results or what have you. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.